All right. In case you don't know, I'm Ronan. I'm a Chicago-based artist and musician, and I'm here just hanging out with you and upsetting my cat. I've been playing a little music on and off and talking about what I do and why I do it. And as I say, upsetting my cat. Hashtag sad kitty. One thing I said I was going to do was kind of do a live version of my vlog, Now ZE HIR, which is something I haven't done before. So as I mentioned in my very first vlog, in the first episode of Now ZE HIR, I am 29 years old. I am, in other words, almost 30. In fact, I am turning 30 next week. I've got my party hat on a little early today. And I thought that this was, therefore, an auspicious time, an appropriate time, to talk about adulting. In other words, hashtag adulting. To maybe explain what I mean when I say hashtag adulting. It's something that people these days will tack on to the end of a status update, a tweet, something like, oh boy, paid my taxes, hashtag adulting. It's this tongue-in-cheek, self-aware reference to the idea that we are taking care of these kind of adult responsibilities, while at the same time, we don't necessarily feel like we should be trusted with these adult responsibilities. Like who let me pay taxes? Like what? So that's sort of the conceit behind it. And I've seen a couple of articles out there that disparage that idea of like, oh, don't. Thank you, Cole. I've seen a couple of articles out there that disparage this idea. They're saying, oh, don't pretend you're still a child. You're not adulting. You are an adult. Grow up. So first of all, calm down to those people. Second of all, I think that part of growing up means being able to define what growing up actually means. Because we start out with this concept that being an adult, growing up, means a certain set of things. It means cooking your own food, buying your own groceries, having a job, paying bills, paying taxes, doing your laundry, getting married, starting a family, as if being an adult is this checklist that we have to live out. And yet when people tell the sort of people who would use the, hashtag adulting hashtag to grow up, they mean something else. They mean that there is a definition for what they see as acting like a child, and they're just telling us to stop doing it. I'm kind of getting off my topic here. But really, if being a grown-up is more than just a checklist of things that we do, then it's not really up to anyone but us to decide what that means. And I came to a realization a few years ago now, a number of years ago now. I always had something of a Peter Pan complex. Won't grow up, never, become a stuffy old adult. It wasn't until I decided that I could define growing up on my own terms that I became okay with it happening. So what does being a grown-up actually mean to me? Growing up, I think, means taking responsibility for yourself. Which, yes, in a sense, means being responsible in that sort of checklist way of do your laundry, pay your taxes, buy your groceries. At the same time, it also means being responsible for yourself and your choices. For the longest time in my life, way into my 20s, I thought I needed permission for anything. And this is not something that anyone sat me down and drilled into me the idea that I couldn't make my own decisions. At the same time, it's an idea that manifested in my mind. I think it's something that a lot of people, and particularly people who are raised as female, as girls, or, you know, who ultimately identify as women, it's something we have to deal with. Society just tells us that we can't be trusted with our own brains. So when I had a big decision to make, or I had something I wanted to do, even if I knew the answer, even if I knew what I felt was right, I was still turning in any direction I could to find someone who could tell me it was okay to do it. Being a grown-up, for me, in my life, means being that person for myself. It means owning myself and my life and my choices. And yeah, paying taxes and doing laundry and buying groceries is freaking boring. It's just the most tedious stuff. And so yeah, it's funny. The checklist is funny. So yes, I'm going to continue using #adulting. And that's my choice. So thank you for being here during my live attempt at a live vlog. We'll see how well that cuts up into a little bitty YouTube. I don't know. YouTubes are this big. If you didn't know, that's how big a YouTube is. But I'm gonna finish some cat background noise, which I don't think is good. Hang on. Oh, you're so noisy. You're such a noisy face. Noisy face. You're causing so many problems. Yes. Back out you go. And I'm going to finish this live vlog up with what I always like to say at the end of my vlogs, which is always be changing. What that means to me is I tried to make an episode of the vlog that explains this, and it was way early on, and the lighting was terrible, and I was in a rush, and the topic got way away from me. But I was talking about the ship of Theseus, and the paradox, the idea that you have a ship, and piece by piece you replace the ship. At what point does it become not the ship? And sort of equating that to the fact that our bodies are actually always replacing and regenerating our cells. It's not quite true that every 7 years we have a whole new set of cells, but it's still true that we're always shedding cells and recreating, and new neuron pathways are changing and all of that. So at what point do you become a different person than you were? So the point of always be changing is you're going to be doing it anyway, so might as well embrace it. And that's why I always finish up my vlogs with always be changing.